All right, hey guys, welcome back to another startup screen printing video. My name is Jesse. In this video, I wanted to talk to you guys about using white water-based ink, but specifically mixing that ink to make it a little thinner, a little easier to use, easier to work with. If you've tried to use any water-based ink, especially white in the past, you might have found that it's super thick, it can be difficult to work with, it dries out really quick. So I've got a little trick that I like to use on my white, a little additive that I add in there. And actually this goes back to a video more than 10 years ago for Ryanette that I found online of Ryan talking about thinning out the white ink a little bit by adding some clear core. So let's get over to the ink table and we'll walk through it. All right, so as I mentioned, we're gonna add some clear core to the white. Now, as we look at the Comet white, I've only ever used Green Galaxy inks. So I'm not sure if this applies to any other water-based inks, but for me, I've always just used Green Galaxy, but if you notice the white is quite thick. I mean, it's almost more like plastisol than water-based. And when you try and put that on press, it just really can be difficult to work with a manual press, and especially a beginner. So I found that this method works great for me. Like I mentioned, we're gonna add some clear core. This is what you mix in the Fusion mixing system for the Green Galaxy water-based inks. So if you have that system, then you already have some of this. Otherwise, you want to get some clear core. This is what we're going to add to the white ink. So I like to do this in a smaller container. I usually keep my white in smaller containers already mixed, and then the white in the big container I know is not quite mixed yet. So that's what we're going to do here. Let me move these over here. Got another camera here so we can watch a little bit closer what I'm doing. All right, got everything set up. I like to take these little cleanup cards and scoop the ink out. Let's go ahead and put our container on here and zero out. And then let's just scoop some white. You can see how thick it is and just comes out in big blobs. In plastisol, normally, you know, it starts out kind of thick and hard to work with, and then as it warms up, stirring it, mixing it, printing with it, plastisol will tend to loosen up and get a little more, a little softer, a little easier to work with. I find that this white water-based ink is not that way. When it heats up, it just gets drier and thicker. So you don't have the luxury that you have with plastisol where you can just mix it and mix it and mix it till you get the ink nice and warm, and then it thins out. It doesn't do that. All right, we'll toss this one. And go ahead and put the lid on because we're done with the white. Toss this back in here before I forget. All right. So we have 947.75 grams. So that's what I'm going to put in here. And then we're going to do 12%. So I just multiplied that by 12. Oh, hit the wrong button. 947 times 12% is 113.73. So let's zero this out. I'll leave that on there. We'll zero it out. We need 113 grams. Now you don't have to be precise with this. Just get close. Obviously you put a little more than that, it's going to just thin it even more. But it's not going to ruin the ink by any means. All right. Got there. So see, I'm at 120, 122. So no big deal. Just means it'll be a little bit thinner, but not that much. Now we just want to give this a good stir. Mix it in there really good. So now what we're left with is a lot thinner, right? I mean, that's just kind of falling off through there. It's behaving more like a water-based ink, like it's nice and soft. I think you'll find that that's a lot easier to work with. It's going to stay wet on press longer. It's going to go through your screens more smoothly. I also like to use some water. I keep some water nearby, and I, spritz after I flood, I'll spritz every now and then in a long run. But for the most part, I've been doing this since I started in 2017 with water-based ink when I started my own company. Previously, the print shop I worked at, we just did all Plastisoft, so we didn't have to do this. But ever since I've started using Green Galaxy and started my own print company, I've been adding ClearCore after the first time I printed a larger print order with that white ink and had just an awful time with things heating up. I cure with my flash and my platens get extra hot, and I have to be careful with that and monitor those throughout a print run. But those longer print runs can tend to really heat that white ink up and heat that screen up to an extent where it's really drying out every couple of shirts. So I spritz it with some water, and that seems to help. And then adding this ClearCore to it also has really helped me a ton. So give it a shot, see if that makes the white ink more manageable for you, and see if you like the result. Now, beware that you are thinning out the pigment in this ink a little bit, so it's not going to be as opaque when you print it. Naturally, water-based ink's not going to be very opaque anyways, but just know that you're probably going to have to do 2 passes. Now, I kind of like that because I like to be able to offer my clients in the way that the prints that I've done and talk to them about, we've talked about the fact that it was a nice vintage print, works out well. And so they like that. And so we can just do a 1-pass white, and that's worked out great. So I like to offer that as an option. So it works well for me that this thins out the pigment a little bit. But if they want a nice bright white, then I just know I need to flash print again, and then I'll be done. So let me know if you have any other questions. Let me know how that works out for you, what you think of the result when you give this a try. Like I said, it's worked well for me. So I encourage you to give it a shot and see if it works in your environment, your situation, and what you're trying to print. So let me know. I've enjoyed all the comments that I've gotten so far, and the likes on the videos, subscriptions. I appreciate all of it, and I'm really excited to continue to bring you guys these videos and teach you more and more about what I've learned throughout running my own print business and working for a print company prior, and just being in this industry in general. And can't wait to bring you more. So we'll see you in the next video.